Thursday of week 26, so 4 weeks tomorrow until the race. And this is my first run in 3 days. If you saw my video from last week, I'll put a link up there if you haven't. But yeah, I had 3 days rest as I said I would. I did a walk yesterday, just 3k, testing up the calf, which felt okay, not 100%, but I'm going to try an easy run today to test it out. Just over 2 kilometers into my run, and I did a flat section to start, and the calf felt alright, so now I'm just testing it on this climb, and so far very positive, which I'm finding quite encouraging. Hopefully I can get back home without any pain. That's the run done. 5k, nice and easy, and I'd say the calf passed the test. Not 100%, but good enough to go into a big training block, fingers crossed. So the aim tomorrow will be to do a long run, because my legs were feeling very fresh today. It is Friday of week 26 and the calf is feeling good, so I did that easy run yesterday and then did some strength and conditioning, lots of jumping up and down onto the box to really test it out in a quite a controlled environment so I could stop if I felt any pain. Today is going to be a long run day, carrying all the mandatory kit, and this is for the warm weather option of UTMB. And the reason I'm doing the long weather option is because it requires you to carry 2 litres of water rather than just 1, so it's an extra kilo of weight. And where I'm going today, I'm not sure there'll be many water sources as well. All being well, it's going to be my single biggest training run. So yeah, that's the plan, and I'm going to get everything all packed up now, a lot of kit. Okay, packed and ready to go. Weather's looking a bit cloudy, but hopefully it's okay. And yeah, hopefully the calf holds us out. That's 1 hour done. Just coming up for 8k and around 470 meters of ascent. So far so good. That's the watch just beeping to tell me that I've done 8k. And yeah, used this trail a few times, but it's been a couple of months. Unfortunately, it's got quite overgrown. This is now summer. Calf's feeling okay, the odd slight twinge. So far so good. 2 hours in and 1100 meters of climbing, and just coming up for 14 kilometers. So a quarter of the way through distance wise and over a quarter of the climbing done. And it's beginning to get warm. The sun's up fully now, but hopefully as I climb I'll keep a bit cooler. All in all, feeling good. Just practicing race day fueling every half hour, eating half of these, so 1 an hour, and then some of the extreme energy drink as well, aiming for around 60 grams of carbs per hour. I've come up from down there and I'm heading ultimately all the way over there. 3 hours in and scenery's completely changed onto single tracks now. Feeling the altitude as well. 19.5 kilometers and about 1600 meters of ascent. 4 hours in and just under 27k. Tracks just got really technical, and I just took a bit of a tumble, which also caused my right calf to cramp. Seems when I fall, calves cramp. Don't know about that. But yeah, just like a typical trail around here. You're really good and all of a sudden it gets really technical. And I chose the wrong time to look down at my watch. But done around 2,000 meters of ascent. Feeling alright. So we're going to keep pushing on for a bit more and see how far I can get. A few clouds forming as well, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. Forecast wasn't for thunderstorms, but there's been quite a few every afternoon last week, but today was looking clearer, hence doing a long run today. 5 hours in, about 32 kilometers or so, and beginning to get a bit tired now. I've just been running between about 2,200 and 2,400 meters for the last hour, just undulating that kind of elevation. Over 2,200 meters off ascent total. Clouds getting a bit darker, so I'm going to make a decision. Next call, I can take a route back down, make it a loop, so I can push on to where the car is. Doing well though, happy with the pace. And knee is alright, pretty lucky. The blood stopped just above the stop line. So no blood on my new socks, luckily. It's the little things, got to look for the positives. Changed my route slightly, came down to the ski station because I wanted to look at the cows. No, came down to the ski station because I needed to get water. All the water sources that were there in the spring all dried up as it's summer. So came down, filled up, probably spent about 10 minutes in total, had a coffee, nice little espresso, and a can of Coke, put it in the bottles with some water and half a packet of crisps. That chairlift is running. That may look a bit dodgy on Strava, the speed I climbed that hill at. Very tempted. 6 hours in, just about 38k now. Average speed has dropped slightly with that stop down at the ski station behind me, but I've done around 2,300 meters of climbing and 600 meters of descending, so it shows how the profile of the day has been so far. 7 hours in, and came along that track there. It's a change to the plan. I didn't go up onto the ridge, it was getting very windy, so I came onto this GR path. That's what the red and white paint is, GR11. It's lower level, and then up bring onto the ridge later on, so I'll have less time up at the altitude, well, up on the exposed section. This is still around 2,500 meters up here, which is, yeah, kind of like the highest point in Grand Colferet, so quite reflective. But beginning to feel tired now. Look, a right mess, sweats everywhere. That's the ridge I was meant to be up. Bit disappointed, it's meant to be quite technical and scrambling, but not really reflective of UTMB either, so I think this is probably a better option. The ridge behind me is the one I had originally planned to go along, but I can probably hear it's quite windy, but what a view! I'm going along here now, about 14k left, just out the wind here. Yeah, 8 hours in, and well, my average speed dropped massively because I had to stop and help someone who was lost. No map, no compass, no route on the watch, no offline maps on their phone, and no idea where they were. Knew the name of a refuge and that was it. These little ups and downs on the route profile are climbs like that one behind me. So I was up that hill off to the left of the screen, down, up, then up this one. Just the scale is so vast. Camera's about to die, but yeah, that's back up over 2,800 meters. This bit's becoming a real mental battle, because the route I plotted was 54k apparently, and I know to get to the end I've still got over 7 kilometers, and I've already done over 51, 52k, so it's going to be closer to 60, which is pretty tough. "10 hours in, final descent now, over 56 kilometers done and over 3,600 meters of ascent. Just a quad achingly sore, steep ski slope to go, about 1,000 meters left and maybe 3-4k, so it's pretty steep because the bottom section is actually relatively flat. Run done. This is what I look like after 59.6 kilometers in the mountains. Battery's about to die, so I'll give you a full recap tomorrow. Saturday, I'm just doing my weights fest walk. Legs feeling pretty good actually after that long run yesterday. So I shall head home and talk you through all the details from yesterday's long run. It is Sunday, and that is another week rounded up and finished. Essentially, this week, week 26, was all about that long run. After sort of calf strain, it was then, because I had such fresh legs, I really went for it on the long run day. So as you saw, it was 59.6 kilometers total distance. And as promised, I'll talk you through a little bit more around the run itself. So first off, I was doing pretty well until about 6 hours in, and then I started sort of feeling an odd twinge of cramp and things like that, and then, as I mentioned on the video, I got held up for a little while trying to help someone find their way who was completely underprepared, and never got the average speed back up, but I still averaged about 5.7 kilometers per hour, which I was quite happy with, and carrying more weight than I would do probably on the race as well. So next week I'll be focusing a bit more on about my strategy for what I'm going to carry for the actual UTMB course. Going into Saturday, as you saw, was a weights fest walk, and then today I just did 3 kilometers with a few accelerations. The legs were pretty tired, felt really clunky at the start, but much better by the end of that run, and that was the purpose of it really, just get the legs working, a bit of movement in them ahead of next week. All being well, week 27 will be a build week before moving into a taper for week 28, 29 and then week 30, race week. So that is the plan, trying to do a big build week next week. Legs are feeling pretty good, form is looking quite good as well. In terms of fatigue isn't too high versus fitness levels. Getting back to the long run and talking a little bit more around my approach for that. So I was carrying, as I mentioned, all of the mandatory kit. In addition to that, I also had a few other bits and pieces just around mountain safety and that type of thing. So I was carrying more weight than I will be doing on race day. I was also carrying quite a lot of food. So to go through the actual nutrition on race day, what I ate and what I drank, and I'll put the stats on screen in terms of number of carbs and things like that as well, so you can see what my consumption was over that total period. But across the day, I had 3.5 of the Mountain Fuel Feel Good bars. I had 4 of the sports jellies, 1 caffeinated one when I was feeling a bit down and had a big climb coming up, and then 3 of the non-caffeinated, the orange and also the lime one. So I had 4 jellies in total. I had half a packet of crisps and a can of Coke, which I drank a little bit, and then I split the remainder of the can between 2 of my 500ml bottles and topped that up with water. So I was just sipping on that then for the rest of the run really. I had 2 bottles with Precision Hydration 1500 in them, which is salts but also has a few calories. And then I also had 2 bottles with the Mountain Fuel Extreme Energy drink in there, 1 blackcurrant and 1 of the raw, kind of the flavourless version of that. So, and I consumed all of that on the run. I also had an espresso, but that's not really counting calories, just a bit of caffeine. It's a bit of a pick-me-up. In addition to all the food, I also had the extra water that you saw, the large bottle that I bought. So I started off with 2 litres, I then topped back up to another 1/3 litre with the 2 bottles with the Coke and water mix. I then finished off that large bottle, which was probably another 500 ml or so. And then I also had some additional water when I was past a couple of streams and just made use of my soft cup that I had, collapsible cup. And that in total is probably in the region around 4 litres of water over the 10 hours. In addition to that and the food, I also had some homemade energy bars. So looking at the overall, like the branded products, the ones which I know exactly what the calories were in them, and carbs, I had in total around 2,200 calories and around 350 grams of carbs. Now ideally you're aiming for around 60 grams of carbs per hour. 60 to 90 is kind of often seen as the optimal level. Now, in addition to, say, the packaged food, I had some homemade snacks as well, which is why I'm not quite sure what my total intake will have been per hour, but it was certainly more than 32 grams per hour, which would suggest by just the branded products. So I probably was in the region around 45 grams, to be honest, so a bit low based on the target. Now, overall, it said that I'd burnt over 5,000 calories and I probably consumed in the region around 3,000. So you can see that there's a bit of a deficit there as well. Having said that, I was pretty much exclusively in heart rate zone 1, a little bit in zone 2, maybe zone 3 very occasionally. So I was in the fat burning zone and making use of that as my main fuel source for the majority of the run. And that would be the reason why towards the end I wasn't feeling very tired on the final descent. Actually, I was feeling pretty good. I was able to pick up the pace a little bit, which I was happy about, and I finished, had a recovery shake and felt absolutely fine. I wasn't feeling very tired at all, so I was really happy with that and how the fueling had gone. Now on race day I'll be making more use of the aid stations and taking additional calories and fluid as and when I can. But that nutrition plan with the Mountain Fuel Feel Good bars and the jellies will be something which I take into race day as well. I'll be carrying those with me. So ultimately it was a good practice run and basically rehearsing what I will do on race day for the majority of the actual time when I'm running, rather than say in an aid station sitting down and eating something. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing to the TMR Coaching newsletter. There's a link to my website down below, and I send out a weekly newsletter with top training tips. Also, make sure you follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Links again down below in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time.